Hello guys, how are you doing? Let me know once you're on. Let me know once you're on. How are you doing, guys? So, first of all, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, and then we can go ahead. How are you doing, guys? How are you doing, guys? It's your boy Dave Partner. Please, let me know if you can hear me in the comment section, and then we can go ahead as long as you can hear my voice. All right, we just want to talk about this legend. This guy is a true legend. Uh, he died. He died after praying for coronavirus victims. So let me know in the comments if you can hear my voice. All right. Um, okay, good, Mr. Quality. I know you're hearing my voice in quality. All right. Dave, cool. I can see you guys. All right. So a true legend. All right. A true legend. Pastor Ndifo, I think he's innocent or whatever. He died in Cameroon. All right. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? And he died after praying for coronavirus victims. And let me just give you the news first, then we can talk about it. All right. So Kayode, I can see you. In Cape Town, a popular Cameroonian pastor has died less than a week after being diagnosed of COVID-19, leaving hundreds of his supporters panicked after the man had laid hands on them in an effort to cure them of the infection. Pastor Franklin Ndifo was also a candidate in the Central African states' last presidential election. According to the Voice of America News, Cameroon police used force to gain access to the pastor's residence in the economic capital of Douala, as some of his supporters blocked entrances, praying for his resurrection. Okay, so hundreds of the pastor's followers sang on Sunday morning at Ndifo's residence that the man popularly referred to as the prophet was not dead. They said that he is on a spiritual retreat with God and would return soon, like the second coming. His Majesty, I'm happy to see you, all right? Their singing and prayers were broadcast by several local radio stations. Ndifo died and was buried in front of his residence on Saturday by workers of the Cameroonian COVID-19 response team in the city. Dr. Gail Nanga told VOA that the pastor died less than a week after being diagnosed of COVID-19. He said that some members of Ndifo's Kingship International Ministries Church called him to come to the pastor's aid when they found out Ndifo was in agony. That when the medical team he leads arrived, Ndifo was having severe respiratory difficulties. He said the pastor died less than 10 minutes after being treated. This article is funny. If he was being treated, after being treated, they said he died 10 minutes after being treated. This doesn't make sense. I think he died 10 minutes after they began treatment, okay? The governor of Cameroon's coastal region said in release that they deployed police to force their way into Ndifo's residence when his followers chased medical staff away. This thing is on different levels. Keep dropping your comments. I'm seeing you guys' comments, all right? We're going to gist about this, all right? So don't go nowhere. Let me finish the news first. Ndifo's follower, Rigobert Che, said the prophet last Wednesday prayed for him and several dozen people diagnosed with COVID-19 and some who suspected they were carriers or had symptoms. He said Ndifo's death had brought panic to hundreds of people who had been visiting him for prayers for a divine cure. According to Che, the pastor has been laying hands on the sick and claiming that he was able to cure COVID-19. Mr. Quality, hold it first. Let's finish reading this. This thing is funny. All right, before we get to the followers, let's get through the news first. Don't forget to follow me. Like if you're watching this and you've not followed me, please make sure you subscribe, all right? And then turn on the notifications and then share this. Make sure you share this to your Facebook, okay? Because we're about to educate some sheep. Share this to your Facebook and to your WhatsApp. Some people in your WhatsApp groups need to see this, all right? Okay, so it said, if you, the person that claimed that you are curing COVID-19, you are dead. What about the fellow people that were affected by the COVID-19? Now that he's dead, I do not know how the people that he was laying hands on will be healed. Okay, he said, medical staff has urged all the people who came in contact with the pastor to report to the hospitals to be tested of the virus. Besides praying for COVID-19 patients at his home and his church, Ndifo was also donating buckets and soap to the poor to protect themselves from the virus. His last public outing was April 20, when he ventured into Douala streets to distribute face masks. All right, guys, we are done with the news. Now, let's have some talk about this. Let's talk about this. When I started this video, I said this man is a legend. True legend. All right? This man is a legend. The reason I say this man is a legend is because he tried to practice his faith. You know, what we have in Nigeria are people who are scared to practice their faith. You know, most Nigerian pastors, what you notice is that, honestly, they only heal non-infectious diseases. Once it gets to a disease that is infectious, all right, especially airborne diseases, everybody runs away. They go on self-isolation. There's this thing called remote conference, okay? You go to YouTube, you go live on YouTube and broadcast to your audience. Nobody wants to go to the isolation center again. Now I'm saying, nobody wants to go. Can you imagine the whole world, all the pastors in the whole world, there's no single pastor that went to an isolation center in his country to cure people. Zero. The only thing we're seeing so far is fake miracle announcements starting to emerge. Wait for COVID-19 to finish. There is no kind of fake COVID-19 healing miracle you will not hear. If you hear testimony. Now the thing is happening. Zero. Number of pastors that have gone to isolation centers is zero. You get what I'm saying? Anything coronavirus, airborne disease, they don't want to near it. All right? Instead, some are doing donation. Get face mask, donate rice, beans. We know donation is good, but we know that you're a pastor, you know, you are supposed to do miracle. Forget donation first. Okay, donation is very good. And honestly, I commend pastors that have done donations. All right. But we know what's up. We know that you are supposed to do miracle. All those miracle, incurable diseases you have been curing. How far? You know what I'm saying? Like people without leg, you will see miracle, they will do miracle, somebody's leg will appear from nowhere and the person will start walking. You know, people will come and give testimony. When they gave birth to me, my head was missing. Pastor, pray for me. Immediately apply this anointing oil or olive oil or wear this church wristband. My head just appeared from nowhere. You get what I'm saying? There's no kind of miracle you'll not hear on a normal day. But now that we have real issue, verifiable issue, that if you do anyhow, you see anyhow, nobody is going to. It's only in Italy that some priests, oh my God, some people get respect. Some priests went into ICU to give people some last final sacraments. From what I heard, I'm not sure, right? But I read it. So because in Catholic Church, you're supposed to, there's a sacrament that they're supposed to give you, like the last prayer, they're supposed to pray for you before you die. All right. In fact, even in battlefields, some priests that are soldiers, as they are shooting people dead, priests will be walking around those battlefields to look for people that are about to die and give them that last prayer. So some priests went into such wards and prayed for such people, and some of them contacted it. They said so far in Italy, over 60-something priests have died from it. So I want to give a respect to those people, all right? They knew this thing is going to kill them. They went there, all right? It's different from what I'm talking about now. People that are claiming that they can actually heal it, they are not going there to pray for the sick. They are going there to do miracle. 0 pastors have gone to do coronavirus miracle. 0. The only thing you hear is during live stream, somebody will say, Pastor, I was in the UK. I touched your calendar and my coronavirus and my family just disappeared like that. You know, that kind of thing. But you not see physically. So for this pastor to physically go and touch coronavirus patients, I want to give him respect. They should put the statue of this guy in the middle of the city. You know what I'm saying? He's a legend, true legend. They should study him in books for at least trying to practice his faith realistically, which means to an extent he believes so much in what he's doing, which is what I don't see in many pastors. Many pastors don't really believe what they preach. After preaching that that the evil devil cannot do them anything, blah, 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 at the end of the day, they have, if you see their security, arms, if you see gun where security carry, be like DSS gun. Have you seen DSS gun before? Not all these police AK-47. If you see DSS gun, it be like carton. You don't even know where the front of the gun is. If they knock you on, even your soul will feel it. You know what I'm saying? So this pastor physically laid hand on, I know it was incredibly dumb. Okay, that's the most stupid thing you can do. Somebody that is, but it shows that he was practicing his faith. After that, he went to share face masks. Respect to this pastor. Now he did, because when you do dumb stuff, you could lose your life. He did, but let them bury him like a legend. Okay, he did the most stupid stuff by joking around or fooling around with an infectious disease, but he practiced his faith. Respect to a legend. You know what I'm saying? Now, even though that's dumb, you can't imagine the dumbness of his own congregation. Yeah, stupidity did this word though. People they moo. Hey. So pastor is dead, and these people barricaded themselves and started praying for his resurrection. Where those Indian police? I don't know if you guys saw the videos of those Indian police that they use cane. If they come where you are violating this COVID-19 lockdown, if they knock you cane, if they knock you cane, those are the police I need. India should send some of their police. There are some people they need to flog sense into. So pastor died of an infectious disease. You guys still gathered in that same residence where he contracted that disease, and you're opening your mouth to shout prayers. Do you think God is stupid? They need to flog some people. What the hell? Know what I'm saying? What the hell? They had to say, government had to send police to go and break through that residence, to break that residence. If you're just joining, I'm not making this up. Look at his congregation barricaded the residence. They didn't want government to come, COVID-19 officials to come. They didn't want that. By the time they come, he said that some members, not even some members of the First Kingship International Ministries Church called him to the pastor's aid when they found out Ndifo was in agony. Point of death. Do you know, but before COVID-19 will get you to be able to start struggling for breath, you have had it for like 4 to 5 days. Because first day you have something like sore throat, second day you have fever. By the third day or fourth day, that's when you start seeing difficulty in breathing and stuff. So this pastor saw this. He had the opportunity to go to the hospital. He did not go. Idiot. Yeah, people did his life. So you think the pastor is the most stupid there? Then his congregation too. They now gathered in the same residence where you saw pastor, everybody in that room, they are probably infected. Because when somebody is struggling for breath, they are coughing out and they are, and the thing is filling the whole room. And they said this thing can stay 8 to 10 hours in the air. So by the time they called the hospital, the COVID-19 team, he died 10 minutes after. So he was already at the point of death. This thing has troubled him to the point that he was at the point of death before they could call those people. Imagine that. Last time they saw him was 20th April. So they said, and one of his followers said that last Wednesday he prayed for him and several dozen people. This man was just. There's something they call in this when it comes to infectious diseases like this. There's something they call a super spreader. Normally everybody there's a spread rate for it. Okay, infection rate. So basically, it is how many people on the average can an infected person infect before they die or recover. You understand? So they said for COVID-19 is 2.6. So each infected COVID-19 person, especially in the UK or whatever, but I don't know. I think it's general over the world. Each infected COVID-19 patient will infect 2.6 other people, which is almost 3 other people. For each person that you find, there are at least 3 other people that they have infected. You understand? Now, a super spreader will spread to 100 to 1,000 people at a stretch. And usually where this thing has happened is in religious centers. There is one South Korea. When this thing started in South Korea quickly deployed their response team, blah, 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 implemented measures to curb COVID-19. And at the end of the day, they had only 30 cases. And they were rejoicing that they have 30 cases. I think they were about to lift their lockdown or whatever. They never actually did lockdown. They did some restrictions. They were about to lift it. When one of the women, they call her the 31st case. One woman went to church service twice that week. Oh boy. Before the end of that week, they had 1,600 extra cases. How do you jump from 30 to 1,600? And when they traced, those 1,600 came from that church because those 2 times that woman had attended. To the point that the pastor had to come out and kneel down in national TV and beg the nation to forgive him for holding service. So this pastor is a super spreader. Another one was in India. You understand? A man came back from Italy. You know that thing spread so much in Italy. So an Indian man, a pastor, he came back from Italy and started praying for people. Oh boy. Within 2 weeks, the man said, he don't die. The coronavirus killed him. And then they discovered that almost half of people that are related to him have it. And there are a lot of people in the city. So they had to put the city on lockdown in India. 40,000 people went on lockdown. Okay, so somebody's trying to correct me here, saying his house was barricaded by police, not his members. Let's see. Let me search the article. So, Kingsley, look at where it's written. He said, according to Voice of America, Cameroonian police used force to gain access to the pastor's residence in the economic capital of Douala. See, guy, you underestimate the stupidity of some of these people. I'm telling you that they blocked police from entering. Somebody died of an infectious disease in a church, and these people still gathered inside that church and blocked police. Look, hundreds of the pastor's followers sang on Sunday morning at the pastor's residence that the man popularly referred that the prophet was not dead. They are telling you that the disease killed your pastor. You still went there to pray and say, what the hell is wrong with people? What the hell is wrong with people? Now I'm saying, this is crazy. So I'm reading your comments now. I'm reading your comments. So Kingsley said, you have to verify what you're saying, because if you know what happened, you will be careful the way you speak. Listen, I know the pastor and he went to political meeting on Wednesday. Yeah, somebody said that he prayed for him on Wednesday. I'm reading this article is iol.co.za. Okay, so there's another. I opened. Look at this one again. This is Guardian.ng, writing the same story. Okay, Cameroonian pastor Franklin. Look at it now. It's the same story. This is the name of the doctor. So they said he started falling ill a week after contracting the virus. So what I'm saying is from almost 3 to 4 reputable news media. If you type it on Google, it's there. There's even a video that I don't want to play. There's a video to it, guys. So I think I will share the video in the comments. Link to the video in the comments after this. So it's not like I'm making things up. This thing actually happened. You search it on Google. So Mr. Kingsley Jidofo Abisi, all right? It's not being made up. Okay, I wish my fellow blacks people will ever learn medicine. I feel so. If there's a miracle, we have to do that. Some people's brain will open. We have to do that. So His Majesty said, in my own opinion, I don't think that being fake or not has anything to do with the death of the acclaimed pastor. or has the novel coronavirus become spiritually contagious? So basically, can you guys tell me what you think is the mistake this pastor made? All right, what killed him? We know his congregation. We already know what they their own no remedy. Let's talk about the pastor. What was the mistake he made? So he made the same mistake I used to say in this channel. All right, and every time I say it, there will always be 1 or 2 persons that will come and attack me. But what I'm saying is true. It's undisputable. This planet we are on is a physical planet. This is a physical world. So physical laws take precedence over any kind of laws, including spiritual laws. You get? Gravity will work against any faith you bring in this life. Any faith you can bring. You understand? Gravity will work against it. If you jump out from the mountain, you will not fly, you will fall. You get what I'm saying? Unless you obey the laws of gravity. Maybe build a glider or an airplane. You have to obey the laws of gravity. If you look at everything that flies in the sky, they are streamlined. Any animal that flies, the mouth of that animal is pointed. It's called streamlining. If you did physics, you understand what I'm saying? Anything that flies in the sky is always, the mouth of it is always sharp. Look at bats. Look at, what do you call it? Birds. Anything that flies. You understand? Before you now talk about wings, you talk about bones. Even the way the bones of birds are structured, the bones of birds have holes inside to enable it to stay afloat. These are rules, laws of gravity you have to obey. You can't just build an airplane with any random material. You must use light material. They use aluminum. Some will use all this wood. There's a kind of wood that you can use. But you can't use heavy material. If you use heavy material, the plane will not be able to fly. These are rules of gravity. You talk about things that float on water. You talk about buoyancy, upthrust. Remember Archimedes' principle. You get? These are things you have to obey. But if you want to go spiritual and try to walk on water, guy, now a burial will go see. All those Ghanaian people that are carrying a casket, they will be at the beach there carrying a casket and looking at you. Some people don't believe that this is a physical world. If you want to go from point A to point B, no matter how much prayer you say, at the end of the day, to actually make that movement, you have to enter a vehicle or use your leg. Physical law. This is a physical universe. When you die, you can go to a universe that exists in another dimension. Then that kind of law will take precedence over physical laws. It's the simple truth. So there is something that kills people. This is a physical virus. The virus is not spiritual. You can't use spirituality to kill a physical virus. First of all, you have to understand how it works. Then you have to understand something that counters the way it works, which is what scientists are trying to do now. In case you don't know, they have invented over 86 vaccines. They are still trying to test those vaccines now. They have started clinical trials of those vaccines. They said the vaccine they invented for coronavirus is not the same kind of vaccines that we're used to. You know, normal, the same kind of vaccine is that they get the virus, they weaken it, they inject it in your system will learn how to fight that virus. So when the main virus comes, your system will easily defeat it. Medical practitioners, please correct me if I'm wrong, all right, in the comments. So now the kind of virus the vaccine they're coming up with will modify your DNA, or is it RNA? It's kind of modify your DNA. They get the DNA of the virus, they put it in your system modifies to be able to permanently defeat that virus, something like that. So it's a new technology. In fact, the summary of it is that the vaccines they are coming up with is a new technology, different from the old type of vaccines that used to exist. So this is scientists cracking their brain, trying to come up with something. You understand? A solution. Now, even if you look at the spiritual solution, let's say spirituality works in the way this pastor originally thought, that there's some special power that works in him that can cure coronavirus patients. The thing is that power efficient? How many coronavirus patients around the world can this man touch? There are almost 3 to 4 million infected people. Can you touch all of them? You see, it's not efficient. But if this pastor can use his gifts of prophecy and God will tell him in the dream, wake up, tell him that the formula for coronavirus is this, and tell him what to write in a research paper. For scientists to take you serious, you have to write a research paper. Some of these pastors, they are PhD holders. They're telling me the God cannot give them inspiration to write a research paper to invent a solution? Come on. Where is your gift of prophecy? The only thing most of them know how to do is to prophesy a woman that is pregnant for 30 months. They'll prophesy the name of your grandmother that is causing you not to give birth. Or that your husband is the one that is trying to make you to be barren. You know, all those. See, serious coronavirus is attacking the world. No single pastor can have a gift of prophecy to prophesy a research paper about a formula, chemical composition of a certain plant or whatever, that will treat it. No, come on, tell me something. Forget about visiting the isolation. Use your gift of prophecy. It's not efficient for one pastor. Let's say there is one pastor that can actually cure coronavirus through prayers. It's not efficient. You understand? Because it means that he has to be going to each isolation center one by one all over Nigeria, then all over the world. You know, it doesn't make sense. That's not the way to cure this kind of thing. You understand? The more efficient way is use your gift of prophecy. Tell us the right thing to do. Don't tell us to put, there's the other pastor that said people should put a hand in the water by 2 a.m. at night and put salt and turn it 7 times. That's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? If you want scientists to take you serious in anything, you have to write a research paper on it. There's a reason why it's called science. It's science because what? A lot of people will look into what you write and test it on their own grounds using the formulas you presented. If it actually works, then they will give you recognition. Now, by next year, you start seeing Nobel Peace Awards, Nobel Laureate Awards on people that did contribution to COVID-19. You start seeing it next year. Tell me whether you see a pastor. In the past, priests used to be the inventors of most things that we know today. Many people doubt the Big Bang. Who remembers the Big Bang as evolution, the Big Bang, the origin of the universe? Many people doubt it, not knowing that the person that came up with that was a Catholic priest. Till today, if you approach Catholics in the street, they will be doubting it. There's a Catholic priest that is a mathematician. He solved math so he saw that there is no way, that the only way universe would have come through was by an explosion that started from an infinitesimal point. Now I'm saying we're talking astronomy here. You get? So after solving math, it worked on his math. He took it to somebody called Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was already famous for his theory of relativity. Even though Einstein was famous, he didn't understand how the universe would have come through. He was confused at that point. But this priest solved the math and took it to Einstein, a famous physician or physicist. Einstein looked at it and he didn't believe it because the guy was a priest. I was like, this is rubbish, something like that. The girls gave him a kind of bad understanding. It was until like about 10 years later, somebody called Edwin Hubble, a university built a big telescope for looking into the sky. So they gave it to one of their scientists. That scientist and his apprentice, they used this telescope to study the skies. After studying it, they were like, well, man, that priest was actually right 10 years ago. You get what I'm saying? It is science. Science thinks anything you put into science can be verified. If it's not verified, science will tell you, look, it's not verified. That's how we're seeing all this hydroxychloroquine and the remdesivir treatments for coronavirus. Even this one from Madagascar, what scientists are telling him is do clinical trials. Prove beyond every reasonable doubt that it works, period. The man is saying it works. They say, yes, but prove beyond every reasonable doubt. Which means you have to test it and try it a lot. There is things that can, the side effects, all those things. Science studies things. You can't just come and do abracadabra in science. So if you truly have the gift of prophecy, as you say, God should be able to tell you the formula, the solution to coronavirus. You come out, you write, you prepare a research paper, 1 or 2 pages. The research paper for Bitcoin is only 13 pages. You get 1, 2, 3 pages. As a pastor, you have access to professors. You call your own medical team. They help you prepare something. You put it out to the world. People will take you serious. Other people We'll study it. But you're telling me of all these pastors in the whole world, what the hell? The whole world, none of them came up till today that we're talking. Instead, some of them are trying different kind of gimmicks. Some people will say government did not allow them to go to isolation center. Some people will say their coronavirus does not exist. Some people will say they're just trying. Some people will say 5G causes coronavirus. Different things. Oh boy, the main thing you're supposed to do as a prophet, you did not do it. Speak in tongues a little. Get the Spirit of God to minister to you. You get what I'm saying? When serious problem comes, all these gifts disappear. What are you telling me? See, scientists are coming up. Stanley Zahn said God chooses to speak who he wants to speak to. You can't summon or force God to speak or give you a formula. Now you know, but scientists are coming up with a formula. Is God speaking to them or not? Are you telling me that of all the preachers in the whole world, God ignored all of them and is giving scientists formulas? There are treatments for coronavirus that are coming up small. They are still undergoing trials. I just told you that 86 vaccines have been invented already. They have started clinical trials for 86 vaccines. In fact, some of the vaccines are novel. So for all these pastors, God ignored all of them. See, if God ignores all the pastors, I better start following scientists. I'll be paying tithe to World Science, but if there's anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Serious problem. All the gifts are. Tell me something. I'm reading your comments, guys. I'm reading your comments. Tell me something. Where is the gift of prophecy? It has gone. Tell me something. Who can explain where the gift of prophecy went? So I want to know if you guys can still see me. Okay. So gift of prophecy. Who can tell me where went all the gift of prophecy among all the pastors, preachers in the whole world? Not even only Abuja, not only Lagos, Port Harcourt, not only Nigeria, not only Africa, in the whole wide world. Not even one single prophet. Hey, glorious goodness, I'm shaking tables here. Welcome, welcome. Who can tell me where the gift of prophecy went? Only scientists are coming up with solutions. Something that is killing millions of people. Only scientists are coming up. Where is the gift of prophecy? All those people that used to, they will go to church, they will go to hospital, doctor will treat them, they will go to church and give testimony to pastor, forgetting the effort of the doctor. It is time now. There's a reason, personally, I prefer pastors that just preach the word. Just preach the word to me. Don't do abracadabra. Don't form speaking in tongues. Don't form prophecy. Don't form what happened in 1987 when you use your urine to make your vehicle to run. Don't form any of those things. Just preach to me, period. You get? Because most of those abracadabra they do is questionable. So Stanley said, I agree. The world is physical, but it's controlled by the spirit realm. The thing is that you can't prove it. The only thing you can prove is that the physical takes precedence over the spiritual. That's the only thing you can prove. Yeah, we were meant to know, we're meant to believe that that is a spiritual world all growing up. Hello guys, can you guys still hear me? I'd like to know if you can hear me. Please drop the comment. Can you still hear me? Say something in the comment section so I will know that you can hear me. So are you there? Are you guys there? Can you hear me? All right. Okay, good, Ebube. Thanks. So where is the gift? See, I want people watching this to actually have a thought. Calm down and think about what I'm saying. Calm down and think about what I'm saying. Gloria said, remember that God gave humans power to solve problems, especially physical problems. Then God comes when humans fail. All right. So you're telling me the whole pastors will be there and they will not do anything until scientists can finally say that they have failed. I don't believe that, because it means millions of people will die first. You know what I'm saying? And it also means that God is not working through scientists, which is contrary to what I feel. I feel that, man, God works actually through scientists more than any other kind of occupation. You know what I'm saying? Yvonne said, God is revealing his existence and putting a stop to all that doesn't glorify his name in the church. Yeah, that could be true. The only thing is that we don't have any way of knowing what God is actually doing. All right. We may think that God is doing one thing, and it's only at the end of the day, after COVID-19, that we can look back and say, okay, this was actually what God's plan was. You can't tell God's plan without looking back. Nobody can tell God's plan looking forward. You don't know. Okay, prophets are speaking. Listen to Pastor Chris, Dr. Isaiah Weld. All these prophets have spoken. Just check them out. What did they say? Can you say one thing they said? What's the prediction? Do you know that no prophet predicted this thing? Zero. The only thing that started happening was that some of them will come out and say, hey, that they will bring in what do you call it? They'll bring in a video where they say that disaster will happen. Disaster happens every year. What do you tell me? You understand what I'm saying? Disaster happens every year. People will die. People will die every year. So what are you saying? You get what I'm saying? So that's the only thing you'll see. But if it's actually prediction, if you want to see people that predicted this COVID-19, the first person I will start with is Bill Gates. But he's not the first to predict it. But Bill Gates predicted it in 2015. And he didn't just predict it, he made a TED Talk, a full video. And the reason it was an accurate, dead-on prediction was because he predicted the way the sickness will function. He said it's going to be a flu, respiratory, pneumonia-like sickness. And he estimated it to kill about 10 million people. I know that estimate is way off now, all right? But he described exactly what it would look like. So initially, I thought that this man was some kind of magician, but after some research, I discovered that other people have already predicted it in the past. Scientists knew that a disease like this is coming from scientific models. I will explain how they knew. But in 2005, not 15, no, 10 years before Bill Gates made his own prediction, in 2005, the president of US then, George Bush, the video is on YouTube, he predicted it. He explained how it will happen. People will have to cough to transmit it to others, and it will spread very quickly. And they also have some predictions that if you get it, you will not know until after 1 or 2 weeks. Any disease that's going to be very deadly, people will not know about it on time. You understand? Far back in early 90s, there's a movie called or is it late 90s? There's a movie called Contagion. Go on, it's on YouTube, it's free. Type Contagion movie on YouTube, watch it. Movie that they did 20, 25, 30 years ago. This movie predicted this kind of disease almost to the letter. The way it will spread, that they predicted. But it's a movie that they put some, But at the end of, if you watch that movie, it's almost the way coronavirus played out. So it turned out that scientists have estimated, they call it end of the world events, apocalyptic events, likely events that will wipe out humanity. Scientists have modeled all the possible events, and one of them is a disease that will spread and kill off all humanity. And they try to predict what will this disease look like. You understand? What would this disease look like? And one of the predictions says, hey, look, the disease will, number one, when people get it, they will not know until they have spread it to many other people. So which means the disease can stay in people's bodies for at least 1 week before they realize that they have it. By that time, they have spread it. That's one. Two, people that have that disease should find it easy to spread. The reason why HIV doesn't fall into that category is that HIV, you have to go to an extent before you can get it. You have to have sex, not just sex, unprotected sex, and then somehow other ways could be going to a barber or using contaminated instruments. All these things are difficult to transmit from one person to another. So they model that the disease that will actually threaten humanity has to be super easy to transmit. So the only way human beings can easily transmit to other human beings is if the disease is airborne. It has to be in the air. And how does it get into the air? Human beings should be able to cough. That's one way human beings can get a lot of particles into the air. So they describe that this disease has to cause a cough. For it to cause a cough, it means that it has to affect your respiratory system, which means it has to behave like a flu or pneumonia. So they have modeled this. So even now that I'm speaking, there's still a model that says that another disease that looks like coronavirus will still happen again in the future. Now I'm saying that's the only kind of disease that can severely threaten humanity. Disease that spread that fast. So scientists have known this thing for 30, 40 years. They have modeled it since. Before I even continue, let me chip in another end of the possible end of the world event. In case some of you don't know, all right? Living things on this earth has restarted about 5 to 6 times. Apocalyptic events. It has happened about 5 to 6 times that this planet has restarted. You understand? And what happened in some of those times? One of those times, a very big rock, like a planet, collided with this planet, with Earth. You understand? It collided with Earth and exploded, big explosion. Then it bounced off. As it's bouncing off, because the Earth is bigger than it and it's spinning, the Earth, it got trapped in Earth's orbit. That's the moon you see today. This moon once hit Earth. It was a planet that was traveling, not a planet, but a very big, you can call it a planet because of the size. It was traveling towards Earth and it hit Earth. And when it hit, it caused a big explosion, so it bounced off. How did they know? Because some rocks that they saw on the moon, they saw it on some parts of the Earth. And they were able to determine, using geology and geological instruments and all, that there was a big explosion, and they were able to time it to the time it happened. So if you see the moon now, the moon is rotating around itself and around the Earth, but the thing is that it's moving away. To tell you that it once collided, that's why it's pulling away. So every year, the moon moves 1 inch away from where it was. Okay, it rotates around the Earth, but one inch away every year, 1 inch away every year. So there will be a time when the moon will break out of Earth's orbit and start floating. But that will be millions of years because it has to move millions of inches. So when this moon hits Earth, it caused a very gigantic explosion that every big living thing died out. You understand? It's tiny living things that normally survive that kind of thing. All these cockroaches, ants, they can survive any kind of earthquake. But big living things, when you talk about dogs, cats, those kind of things, human beings, any serious explosion that happens on this earth will wipe us all out. I'm telling you, it has happened. It happened to dinosaurs 65 million years ago. One asteroid like that hit Earth, caused a very big explosion. They say the sky was dark for at least a year. The kind of explosion that thing caused. So there was no photosynthesis for at least a year. A lot of things died. Dinosaurs entirely wiped out. You understand? Life restarted again. Evolution started again. Things started coming back, building back till got us now. So it's possible that kind of thing can still happen. So scientists are modeling it, and they are watching the sky every day. NASA has telescopes watching the sky. They even have some on the moon watching the sky. What are they doing? They are looking for anybody that is traveling towards Earth, whether it will collide. If there's a body that's traveling towards Earth that will collide, then alarms will go off. Now I'm saying, so this disease, this kind of a disease that looks like this, was already known that it will appear at some point. You get? So it's not a new thing. Even though these scientists knew this, there's no single pastor that predicted it that way. You understand? No single pastor predicted it. What are you telling me? So I'm reading your comments, guys. I'm reading your comments. So Stanley said the multifacetedness or dimension of God cannot be shielded in pastor prophets. He showed his possibilities in different men being examples, pastors, scientists, etc. They are all parts of God. Ebube says, Stanley, you are still sleeping. Stanley said, Bill Gates is part of the plan of this corona. He was able to predict it because he is part of this evil. Stanley, as I've explained, you need to do more research. I've explained that scientists knew this thing for decades ago. All right, go and watch George Bush TV. Everybody's attacking Bill Gates. All right, I'm not giving excuse for anybody, but watch George Bush based on the points I'm making now. I said that George Bush predicted exactly the same thing in 2005 before he handed over. In fact, he allocated funds for US to start preparing against such a disease attack. It was during Obama's time that Obama started reducing. Obama, in 2014, Obama gave a speech. I even forgot that one. Obama described this disease. He gave a speech about that. So US have been allocating funds, you understand, to help them stockpile personal protective equipment. All right, and a whole lot of things in case this disease comes. US had a budget for it. UK had a budget for it. It's only we in these parts of the world that didn't know about anything coming. They had a budget since, knowing that it took since 2005, knowing it will come one day. Okay, so I'm looking at your comments. Feel free to drop comments because this is interactive, and I'll be rounding up soon. So, in my opinion, this pastor is a legend because he's not afraid to practice what he preached. Unfortunately, what he preached did not work. Okay, well, at least he boldly practiced it. So, I'll come on live later on, and then we can talk about one of our pastors that was blocked in the UK. A UK television blocked him. They said he was promoting unfounded conspiracy theories, one of which is that 5G causes coronavirus. They say, guy, you cannot be doing that in our network. They also said about one or two more things conspiracy theories is promoting. They decided to sanction his channel. So we're going to talk about that. But I'm going to stop here, guys. So thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm going to drop my Instagram handle here so you can just go there and subscribe, all right? And follow me on Instagram. So as usual, if you're looking for a course to learn, all right, go to my platform. And I'm dropping on the link to go to my platform and choose one of the courses, get into it, and learn it, all right? Okay, the latest course now is the course that will make you a web developer in 3 days. If you take this course, what's today again? Today is Tuesday. If you take this course before Friday, you are able to start building sites, full sites with full features. So isn't that a wonderful skill to have? And in case you're learning it to get a job, I also explained how to get a job in the beginning of the course. Some of you here have already gotten the course. Don't forget to share this video, right? So I'm putting the link to the course right there in the comments, and I'll close now. So it's a web development course. Go and sign up for it. Everybody should know. This is 2020. Everybody should know how to build a website. You don't have to be the biggest expert of website in the whole world, but at least you should be able to come up with a business idea, get on your laptop, and you build a website. You understand? 6 to 8 hours, you're done building your website, and then you're into business. If you want to get a job with it, you should be able to have it on your CV and apply. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys. I think I'm ending here. Thank you very much, and see you guys.